Hi there and welcome to Living in Provo, Utah. I'm Scott Walters with Best USA Realty and I'm glad you found my channel. This channel is all about living in Provo, Utah and in Utah Valley. So if you want to know everything about Utah Valley from Lehi to the north, to Provo in the middle, to Santaquin to the south, and all the cities in between, then this channel is for you. Now in this video, I'll be giving you 5 pros and 5 cons about living in the city of Spanish Fork, Utah. Spanish Fork's a town of about 40,000 people, and I'd say it's roughly 10 minutes south of Provo. And if you listen to the end of this video, I'll add in an extra pro about living in the beautiful city of Spanish Fork. Now don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and of course click on the notification bell so that you're notified every time I drop a new video. And I'm making videos weekly about living in Provo and in Utah Valley and all the cities round about Provo. And I'm using my 29 years of experience of helping people buy and sell real estate in Utah to bring these cities to life for you. So if you're thinking about moving here, I'd love it when people reach out to me. My contact information is below and in the comments section. So with that, let's get into talking about the pros and cons of living in Spanish Fork, Utah. So this is pro number 1, the parks. There are a lot of fantastic parks in Spanish Fork City. I'm going to mention some of my favorites, and I've got a list here of all the parks. Maybe I'll list them off. We've got a City Center Park, that's right by the library, which is on Main Street. There's a Sierra Park, that's up in the neighborhood, as well as the Abbey Court Park and Legacy Farm Parks and Parkside Parks. Those are all little parks within little developments. You also have Centennial Park, which is by the cemetery. Across from that, Centennial Park is the, I used to take my boy there all the time, it's the skate park. He loved going there. Then there's also the Russell Swenson Baseball Park. And there's 2 dog parks in Spanish Fork, and the gun club is also considered a park. The gun club's really cool because every Thursday night they have it open. You can go up there and shoot skeets, and it's just a really cool view looking over the valley. So that's a cool place. There's also another park called East Park. So but let me get into the 5 that I like the best. The first one is the Spanish Oaks Reservoir. This is a really cool place where they've made a man-made reservoir, kind of actually really close to the gun club. And in the summertime, everyone loves going there and playing in the water. You can even fish there. They've got a little playground for the kids. There's also even campsites right there if you want to book some camping in that area. There's some really great hiking right there. You can hike up to the Father Escalante and Dominguez marker. It's a giant cross, and it represents when Father Escalante and Dominguez first came into Utah Valley in, I think, 1776 is what I remember. So it's a beautiful hike. So there's a lot of great hikes that start right there at that Reservoir Park. Now just below the Reservoir Park is Canyon View Park. Now this park has a lot of great memories for me and my wife. We remember as kids going there for family reunions and 4th of Julys and just all kinds of fun activities we did there. It's a really big park, very wooded, lots of big trees. There's a walking trail around it. There's also big open grass areas, and I think 3 or 4 large pavilions. We've had a lot of different activities over the years at those pavilions. There's a nice little playground. My kids love playing on that. And then you can also get to the Spanish Fork River Trail. It goes right through that park as well. So the Canyon View Park is clear up on the north end of, well, actually way on the east end of Spanish Fork, really near the Spanish Fork Canyon. Now, one of the newer parks in Spanish Fork, it's probably 10 years old, maybe a little bit older. It's called the Sports Park. This is I think it's a community jewel. It is a fantastic park. Part of that river trail runs right along it. So you've got Spanish Fork River right there. You've got a lot of open fields for soccer, for football. I've seen people playing rugby there. There's a complex for softball. So they do a lot of softball and baseball tournaments there. And then they've got some fantastic pickleball courts. That place gets really busy, so you want to get there early in the morning and the evening. It's loaded. There's always people playing pickleball, and it has nice tennis courts as well, as long as really nice pavilions. So it's a great park, really big, lots of room, very spacious. So we love going there. Now I'm going to take just a break because there's 2 other parks that we love. It's the North Park and the Adventure Heights Park, and my kids are experts at these parks and they love them. So I'm going to let them tell you about those parks.
Hello, I'm Adam. I'm 13 and I'm going to talk about my favorite of the parks. It is called the Adventure Heights Park, but it's more commonly referred to as the All Abilities Park because they designed it for people with special needs as well. So if your child has special needs, if they're in a wheelchair or something, great park for them. So this is the newest of Spanish Forks parks, and it's really cool. So they have a big fake mountain, and it has a waterfall coming down, and it has a little river with stepping stones in it, and kids love to play in this, and there's a little bridge, and then there's a splash pad area, and all sorts of kids will play in this. It's great. To the side, they have some slides. Kids will go down that. But they also have an amazing playground, and it's huge. This is a nice playground. It's brand new. They have tons of slides, rock walls. There's a little tree that you can go up the stairs and then go down the slide. And there's also lots of open space. There's a little garden with little musical things for kids to play in. And you can have events here too. Like I had a choir social with my choir there, and it's just a great place to spend time with your family.
All right, thanks Adam for that great description of the adventure park. Now we want to talk about the North Park. It's the park that's by Costco, and I've got my sweet little girl Lauren with me to help me talk about the North Park. What is it you like about the North Park, the one by Costco?
The splash pads.
What's so fun about the splash pads?
You get wet.
You get wet, especially on a day like today when it's really hot. Is there anything else that you like there?
The tree.
The trees. And there's also a really cool playground, huh? I see you climbing around on that one all the time. That's a really fun park, and it's right around all the shopping center of Spanish Fork. Like I was saying, it's right next to Costco and Macy's and Little Caesars Pizza. There's been plenty of times where we pick up a pizza and then we go over to the pavilion and eat, and then the kids run around the splash pad or play on the playground. So that's a really fun park here in Spanish Fork. So now it's time to talk about con number one with Spanish Fork, and that is the traffic. Now back in the day, it didn't used to be an issue. There wasn't that much traffic. It was kind of a sleepy little town. It would be busy on the weekends was about it, but now it's pretty darn busy. There's one main road through town. It's called Main Street, and it's super busy during rush hour time, and then it's very busy the rest of the time. It's also kind of one of the main roads that takes people to the neighboring towns of Elk Ridge, Woodland Hills, and Salem. So you have a lot of that traffic passing through right through Main Street. That's how they get out to I-15 to go north towards Provo and Salt Lake. So traffic has become an issue with Spanish Fork Main Street. Now, if you're from California, you'll probably laugh because it's really not that big of a deal compared to I know what a lot of LA area traffic is like. So overall, not horrible compared to that, but still, for us locals, it's getting pretty busy. Now, some of the newer areas of town, like the Canyon Creek Parkway area, where they've brought in a whole lot of new shopping. That intersection between Canyon Creek Parkway and Highway 6 is a really busy intersection. It's kind of an awkward intersection as well. And it just, I don't know how they'll fix that. It just kind of is what it is. So pretty darn busy. So now we're at pro number 2, and that is the Spanish Fork River Trail. Now I know I called the sports park like the crown jewel of Spanish Fork, but I might have to take that back and say the river trail is the crown jewel. I mean, they're both great. And part of the Spanish Fork River Trail actually runs right on the edge of the sports park. It's about a 6-mile long walking trail, jogging trail, biking trail. I like to bike it on my road bike. It's a great trail for that. It runs right along the Spanish Fork River. The trail starts on the east end of Spanish Fork up near the Canyon View Park and the golf course. And it starts up there and runs all the way down through the kind of the farmlands and the river bottoms and ends at the Spanish Fork Park in the sports park. And our family and it's shaded. It's shaded in most of the areas, even during the day. There's just large trees, and it runs right along the Spanish Fork River. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I'm just very grateful that they have that park for the community to enjoy. So anyway, that is pro number 2, would be the Spanish Fork River Trail. Also on the very east end of it is the part called the Dripping Rock Trail, which is part of the Spanish Fork River Trail. It's a really cool area where you see water just coming right out of the side of the rock and drips down into the river. So now we're on to con number 2, which is I call the wind, and for some people that may be a pro. But Spanish Fork is known for having some very strong winds in the morning. Comes out of Spanish Fork Canyon and can blow pretty hard in the morning all the way up till around 10 a.m. The good thing is it always leaves Spanish Fork with clean, fresh air. But on the other hand, in the wintertime, it can be a little extra cold when you have that wind blowing on you, and you can get some pretty good snow drifts in your yard because of the wind. I guess a pro with it is Spanish Fork City has put up windmills in the mouth of the canyon to harness the power of that wind, but you're gonna deal with morning wind there most mornings. So that's what I call con number 2 for Spanish Fork. Pro number 3 is the canyon. That canyon that brings the wind, which was part of my con number 2, is also a pro. You're really close to several canyons in Spanish Fork, which take you up to great fishing spots, fishing on the river, fishing at the reservoirs, lots of camping opportunities. So you have Spanish Fork Canyon, which is just right there on the east end of Spanish Fork, which can take you up to Diamond Fork, which is just up the road just a little bit, maybe 10-15 minutes up that canyon. That has some fantastic fishing and hunting and hiking and biking. You also have Hobble Creek Canyon, which is just off the neighboring city to the north of Spanish Fork, which is Springville. But Hobble Creek Canyon is really beautiful. Another creek that flows through there, a nice golf course up that canyon. Again, lots of places to camp and to hike. And then also not too far away from Spanish Fork is the Nebo Loop Road, or Payson Canyon, which again has beautiful reservoirs up on top that you can go have picnics at or camp at and fish and hike, and again lots of biking. So I say the canyons, well, and again Provo Canyon is also maybe 20 minutes from Spanish Fork, so you've got that canyon as well. There's just a lot of beautiful scenery and outdoor areas to go explore up these canyons, and they're all really close to Spanish Fork. So here's my con number 3. If you're looking for a very walkable community, I wouldn't consider Spanish Fork to be a walkable community for walking to the grocery shopping or walking to work. Everything's spread out. I mean, it's a suburb, lots of suburban neighborhoods, not tons of apartment buildings. We're starting to get lots more townhome type projects, but still a lot of single family residences on quarter-acre lots. So things are spread out a little bit, so it's not super easy to just walk everywhere that you want to walk to. Okay, it's on to pro number 4, which is major retail, major shopping. Kind of a big deal for Spanish Fork, because 15 years ago most of these businesses were not even here. So just in the last 15 years there's been a lot of major retail. Before that, people that lived in this area in Spanish Fork, Salem, they all had to drive up to Provo or Orem to shop. So now there's Costco, there's Walmart, there's Ross, there's a Lowe's. This is all over by the new Canyon Creek Parkway, or Canyon Creek Shopping Center area. So there's just a lot of shops in this area. There's a Hobby Lobby, a Dollar Tree. Just looking at a list that I wrote down. There's also Buckle, Below 5, TJ Maxx, Old Navy, Joann's, Deseret Book. There's just a ton of different shops like that there. There's also some gyms in that area, some tire shops. There's plenty of phone companies that you'd like to use, like AT&T and Verizon for cell phones. Several car washes like Wiggy Wash and Quick Quack. There's a Hampton Inn. There's also, in the last couple of years, we've started to get quite a few restaurants. So you've got Olive Garden, Chili's, Texas Roadhouse is under construction now. There's a Denny's. There's Neater's, Cafe Rio, Costa Vida, Zupa's, Mod Pizza. There's a Cubby's, there's a Teriyaki Grill and a Teriyaki Madness. There's a Wing Nuts, and then of course there's all the really quick, the fast food joints like In-N-Out, Culver's, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, Taco Bell, just all those types of places. There's a couple local hamburger joints that have been around for quite a while that the locals like. That's Barry's and Glades. Every time my brother comes in town, he goes to Glades for old time's sake, because he loves the white fry sauce that they make there. So anyway, there's just really a ton of shopping that didn't used to exist, and now it's here. So con number 4 is we're limited in public transportation. That kind of goes along with con number 3 with not being super walkable. We also don't have a whole ton of public transportation options. There is a UTA bus that will come through town, so there is that. But we don't have access to the front runner train, which is the train that runs basically from Provo all the way up to Salt Lake and Ogden. I've heard that there's going to be a line extension down to Spanish Fork, but I don't know if that's happening for sure. So definitely a con in that we don't have a whole ton of public transportation. If you don't have a car, then you're probably going to be relying upon a friend to get around or taking Ubers. So here's pro number 5. Spanish Fork Main Street has that old time charm. It looks like an old cowboy town. And it's, even though we're 2022, it still has that charm as you drive up and down Main Street, and has the old storefronts and everything, and it's just a lot of fun how it looks. And I know that Spanish Fork's put a lot of money and time into studies on how to maintain that charm and keep it having that old time feel to it. So here's con number 5, and that is construction. Because Spanish Fork is growing, there is a lot of construction everywhere, and there's definitely a lot of plans in the mill for even more construction to come, and even more high density construction that's starting to take over a lot of the farmlands. There used to be quite a bit of open space in Spanish Fork, and frankly there still is a bunch. I mean, all the river bottoms are still open, and there's a lot of stuff to the west that's still very open, and even on the east. But compared to when I was a child, those east benches have really filled up with homes, and they continue to fill up with homes. So hey, the good thing is, that keeps your property values up and good. The bad thing is there's just a lot of construction everywhere, and it's becoming busier than what a lot of the locals are used to or like. Okay, so I promised you a bonus pro on living in Spanish Fork, and I really couldn't come up with just one. I mean, Spanish Fork is a great place to live, so I've got several bonus pros that I want to throw out there about why Spanish Fork is such a nice place to live. Number 1 is, you probably haven't heard of it, but there are areas called Palmyra, Benjamin, and Lake Shore, and they're to the west of Spanish Fork, and they are their own little towns, I guess, but they basically link up and connect with Spanish Fork. But the thing that's cool about it is that you feel like you're out in the country. Most of the homes are on 5 acres plus, and so it's just a very open rural feel, and I think it'll probably stay that way for many, many years to come. Yet it's really close to Spanish Fork and also close to Provo, so that's a bonus. You've got an area right there. If you don't want to be crammed into a typical subdivision lot, well, you can go buy some land out there and build a house on 5 acres. Now, bonus number 2 is Spanish Fork's building a new library. Now, forever they've had a library on the south end of Main Street, and it's on the east side of the road, and that's where City Park is as well. And that library served the community very well, but I think they've outgrown it a little bit. And just right across the street there, they are erecting a brand new several-story, state-of-the-art library. Now, another bonus is the Spanish Oaks Golf Course. This is the place I enjoy personally going with my buddies about once a week and golfing there. Golfing in Utah is really inexpensive compared to other places. You're going to pay like $25 for 9 holes in a cart. And Spanish Oaks Golf Course is just a beautiful, beautiful course. They keep it really nice. So that's definitely another pro for living here. Now, one of the final pros is Fiesta Days. Every year around the 24th of July, it's called Pioneer Day, and it's a day that the state of Utah celebrates the Mormon pioneers when they migrated from Illinois all the way across the plains and entered into the Salt Lake Valley on July 24th in 1847. So every year on the 24th of July, pretty much a lot of the communities around here have a celebration. Spanish Fork is one of the cities that has one of the bigger celebrations of the 24th of July, and they've got a whole week-long celebration. They have several nights of top-notch rodeo competition that you can go watch. They have a great parade and all kinds of other activities. So that to me is another bonus of living in Spanish Fork. And as a reminder, my contact information, if you want to reach out to me to know more about living in Spanish Fork, will be listed in the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you. So thanks for watching my video about the pros and cons of living in Spanish Fork. Let me know what you think the pros and cons are of living in Spanish Fork. I'd love to hear that in the comments. Of course, remember to click and subscribe to this channel and click on the notification bell so you get notified every time that I drop a new video. Again, I'm Scott Walters, Best USA Realty, and we'll catch you on the next video.